Char Relay and Classic Movie. Char Relay and Classic Movie. Greetings. Happy Saturday to everyone. What is going on? What is happening? And how are you? Were you running your errands today? Out and about, enjoying the weather? I hope so. It's time to get outside. For me, I say 6 o'clock. I want everything that I need to do out there. I want it to be done and back at home. If I can't get it done, split it, do some on Friday, some on Saturday, rest on Sunday. Because on Sundays, there's no such thing as 24 hours in a day. There's only about 16 hours on Sundays. Yeah, I know, I've said it more than once, but I know you believe me because you'll get up early, think you're going to be running around, do some things. You're going to look up, it's like, it's 7 o'clock already? Dang, that's how it is. I don't know why, but that's just how it is. Even if you do nothing, those hours still go by. But yeah, today I thought about getting me a little walk in, and it did a little raining. And it wasn't much. It wasn't much, but it kind of dampened my spirits. I'm like, forget it. Plus, Don Teasy's cousins were out there. It's the middle of the month. People are moving, doing all kind of stuff. Yes, they are. But I'm glad you guys tuned in today. We have a good show for you always because we're sharing with you what's going on in the news all around the world. We do it in a short amount of time, but just something you can, figure out and say, hey, I didn't know that was going to affect me. That's what we do over here. You just got to get here on time. That's the only thing. All right, good people. Well, without further ado, you all know what to do. We have to celebrate that wonderful and that lovely and that classic.
Go down there, why not go down there? Go down there, why not go down there? Go down there, why not go down there?
Stay down there, girl. Stay down there.
Classic Ruby, everybody. Classic Ruby.
Why, good evening and lovely, lovely Saturday, ladies and gentlemen. I'm here in Classic Ruby. I've decided I'm going to speak in a monotone because I don't want Kenshawn to recognize me. So
Oh.
I figure if I talk like this, then maybe he won't recognize me and then he'll still watch your panel because apparently that's why you run them, right? It's so he can show up. So I thought I was trying to help you out. Hopefully that tricked him and he's locked in now for the rest of the day. How you doing this lovely Saturday, Char? Other than all of the depression and the rain and stuff, other than that, how you doing? How you doing?
I am good. I have me some wine planned with dinner after the show, so I'm just excited. Yes.
Good. Yes, I'm not too shabby myself. I'm not too shabby. I'm excited. There's kind of like a low key theme to our Karen segment tonight, so I'm excited. I'm excited. I think it's gonna be good stuff. It's gonna be good
Oh,
stuff. I feel it in my bones.
you
Yeah,
feel it in your bones.
I
All
do.
right.
Yeah. Mm. All right. Yeah, I'm good.
All right. Well, we have it scrolling down at the bottom there. We got a couple of birthdays coming up. We have Michael Carter and Hiatus Black, aka CJ. So happy birthday to you guys. Hope you enjoy your birthday week.
Yeah.
And hope that you peep in and let me know you've seen it and you watched the replay or something like that.
Mhm.
Just to let you know, hey, we're celebrating you. We're thinking of
Exactly. We're team y'all.
you.
Whoever you
Right.
said. Yeah, I wasn't paying attention. But yeah, happy birthday to y'all. I gotta do that.
All right. Well, the first story up, I always mention we have a lot of smash and grabs and all these type of things. Well, there is a bill that has been signed, and we're going to take a listen to it, see what the governor had to say today. And here we go.
All too well about these smash and grabs, right?
Yes, we've covered them a lot.
Well, a bill cracking down on the rise of organized retail crime is now law in the state of Illinois. Governor J.B. Pritzker just signed it earlier this morning.
And CBS 2's Muga Odigwe was there. She's breaking down how it would work.
We've seen the videos of various smash and grabs, many of them happening here on the Mag Mile, and we know it is a growing crime trend.
Let me be clear, this is not aimed at a low-income parent desperate to feed their child. It's not about a kid making a short-sighted mistake. This is about a multi-billion-dollar industry of organized criminals carrying out sophisticated theft operations to turn a profit on the resale market.
Governor J.B. Pritzker addressing the concerns opponents of the new law have expressed before, that it will lead to harsh penalties for nonviolent shoplifting. Pritzker arguing the law will specifically target organized crime rings, like this bust from last December, where Illinois Attorney General Kwame Raoul's organized retail crime task force recovered millions of dollars in stolen merchandise from storage units at 2 Chicago facilities. It was part of a large-scale investigation into organized retail theft. Under the new law, prosecutors will be able to go after the ringleaders of such crimes. The law will also create a statewide intelligence gathering platform, a way for law enforcement partners from federal, state, and local levels to work together in catching retail criminals. The goal is to clamp down on such crimes, which Raoul says is not just a criminal issue, but also a consumer protection issue.
Is what you have to understand is when these items are stolen and put on online marketplaces to unsuspecting consumers, and not some of these items are food items, and if they're not stored appropriately, if they're if it's a baby food, for instance, and not stored, it becomes a consumer protection issue.
Under the new law, third-party marketplaces will now be required to verify the seller of whatever they are buying and also have the contact info of that seller. Along the Mag Mile, Nicole Deepway, CBS 2 News.
All right, all right. Well, as you see, a bill into place, and he also mentioned that it's not to hurt, you know, the low income people, and you know what he means by that. But that's who it's going to hurt. Now, I've not heard of crime. Well, I'll take that back. I was just about to say I've not heard when crime was involved, when they cared about your situation in poverty. But I forgot that's only with the dominant society. They put that into play when they're pleading a deal for you. But when it comes to us, they go back to when you were in third grade and you went into the wrong bathroom and all of that type of thing. So, yeah, but I did not know that it was a real big organization like that. I mean, they had their own marketplace. They was a mini Amazon, literally a mini Amazon. I'm like, wow. But you know, we as people, we always have to do a hustle. We got to find some kind of way to get some things. Now, I know some of this is just because they want a cute purse, you know, instead of a knockoff. I know all of that, but well, now we got a bill in place, so going to be some folks, more people locked up for these crimes because somebody had to pay. Michigan Avenue, those the dominant society walking down the street, just all happy and go lucky, and they tired of these stores just you know, and then the crime that appears to come to them as well as they're swinging their purses because we don't do that. We're not having our iPhones just putting it down and on a counter and then talk to someone and all that, and leaving our stuff in the shopping carts. We don't do it like that.
Mm-hmm.
So some of that can be prevented, but other things like this, it is what this is.
Mm-hmm. Very true. Very true. You know, I was just thinking, you know, because you're saying, well, basically us versus them. Let's be real. We talk about the us versus them a lot on our show.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to say my next story, right? I'm actually very shocked because usually when it's us, right, we can get an up to like immediate picture, their Facebook, everything when we commit a crime or whatever, right? But when it's them, suddenly there's no names, there's no images, there's no identification. They're careful to not qualify it as even a crime at first, right? Even though it's obviously like all kinds of stuff. And they're not doing it with the following story. So I'm finding it really interesting, actually. So we'll talk about that. But I guess first I should, show you guys the video so you know what the heck I'm talking about. Now, I don't know if y'all heard the mass shooting in Buffalo. There was a mass shooting. So let's take a listen to that, and then we'll talk about it.
News unfolding right now in Buffalo. As many as 10 people are dead after a gunman opens fire in a grocery store. Tonight, the big question, why? Good evening at 6 o'clock. I'm Sandra Brooks.
And I'm Joe Torres. Let's get right to Eyewitness News reporter Naveen Dhaliwal. She's in the newsroom with the very latest on this breaking story. Naveen.
Yeah, Joe and Sandra, we have an update for you. Right now, we can report that this is no longer an active shooting situation. The suspect now is in custody, and we've learned that he's just 18 years old, according to multiple law enforcement sources. And just into our newsroom, investigators are looking at white supremacist ideology from the gunman, including social media posts praising the South Carolina church shooter and the New Zealand mosque shooter. Now, shots rang out around 2:30 this afternoon at a Tops supermarket that's about 3 miles north of Buffalo. A witness told a reporter at our sister station in Buffalo that they heard around 20 to 30 rounds of shots, possibly even more. Buffalo police confirm at least 13 people were hit and at least 10 people have been killed. Now, Governor Hochul tweeting that she is monitoring the situation and urging everyone to stay away from the scene. People have gathered around the store, you can imagine, in shock and panic, waiting for word on what's happening inside that building. The shooting has left them completely in shock.
Well, obviously, these essential workers, come to work every day and they just want to serve the community and get a paycheck, and they have to put up with this craziness.
It's something that it's just unbelievable. It's hard to even muster. It's unbelievable. I'm lost of words.
We also have a statement from the Top supermarket that reads in part, "Our thoughts and prayers are with the victims and their families. Our top priority remains the health and well-being of our associates and customers." And again, this is not an active shooting situation at this time. One person is in custody who police believe is the shooter. We're working to get more information on this mass shooting in Buffalo, and the circumstances could change. As you can imagine, this is a very fluid situation. Joe.
Now, and like I said, there's a couple things I find surprising. First of all, obviously, the shooter was white. Second, he was 18. And normally they see them as like, well, they're young. They still got to be protected. He's just, boys will be boys. He's just making a mistake, maybe, right? It's like what we don't normally see is there was an active shooter. It was a white teenager who was under the age of 21, and we're on it right away. We're identifying. We've identified, oh, wait, no, this is actually, it's race. It's hate motivated. The FBI are on it already. Like, wait, what? Like, I'm honestly, like, I'm happy. I'm not saying they shouldn't have been on top of it, right? But I'm saying I was actually really surprised. Like, when I first found the story, I was like, oh, this must have happened like weeks ago then, right? Because they don't normally give us any of this. And like the person could be standing there going, oh, kill all this type of race or whatever, right? They'll be like, well, we're not sure if it was racially motivated. We still have to investigate, right? Like that's normally how that goes. So that was interesting. I'm glad they did that. Now I want to show you guys this little clip. And the reason why is because the shooter is right here. This is the shooter. This is their 18-year-old shooter.
Crazy, dude.
Let's see him getting arrested right here.
A shooter, a mass shooter type shit. Hey, look at here, young boy.
Oh. Yep. Now, and this is what they're saying. So he was actually wearing military style clothing in addition to the body armor. Okay. And he was very heavily armed. Very heavily armed. There were 11 victims were black, 2 were white. Like again, it was absolutely racially motivated. There was a cop, maybe that's why, because one of the victims was an either retired or off-duty cop who was working security there. So I don't know if that maybe encouraged them to jump on it a little bit faster. I don't know, but just like just the fact that they know the racial supremacy, white supremacy stuff and whatever, they already know that. They're already putting that out. I think it's crazy, Char. It's a grocery store. Like it's Tops. Like Tops never stops saving you more. You know what I know about Tops? Because we don't have Tops here.
Oh, I don't know about that here either.
Y'all don't have, okay, but I know they have it in Buffalo, because when we would drive from here to Erie, Pennsylvania to go shopping, because there's like, I don't know if there's no sales tax or just very, very small sales tax, and everything was super cheap. So we used to go shopping like maybe 4 times a year in Erie. It's like a 4-hour drive from here. And the one thing that we all looked forward to, the first thing we would do when we crossed that border, it didn't matter if it was 9 o'clock in the morning, whatever, is we would stop at Tops and get one of them pizzas from Tops. Okay. That's what it was. And then on the way back, right before we got to the border, there was the Tops, and we would stop in the parking lot. Allegedly, I just realized, allegedly, we would stop in the parking lot, take all the tags off of the clothes that we had bought, and put them into suitcases and whatever. So that way we can claim that we didn't go shopping. So we have nothing to claim. We were just visiting family, allegedly. So the tops is a big deal to me. So I was like, this is a grocery store. Like, this dude
Mm-hmm.
said, you know what? I'm going to go to the black side of town. I'm going to go to the black tops where the black people are, and the black employees are, and the black management is, and I'm going to go gun them all down. This 18-year-old boy.
Mm.
Like, what the heck is happening when your grocery store isn't even safe?
Right. And again, what's going on with being able to get this type of machinery,
Right.
you
Right.
know, and the ammunition. And there was a joke, and I think they need to take it consider it as far as increasing the amount it costs to get ammunition.
At
Because if
least.
it's cheap, then people are gonna buy it and load up on it. If it's like $10, hey, they're gonna think about it. Wait a minute now.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Mm-hmm. At least, right? And then of course, this was supposed to be, he was supposed to off himself afterwards. Um, but then he just didn't have the cojones. So that tells you this is not like some guy who was driven internally and like nothing would have stopped him no matter what. It's just, it was made too easy, right? He fell down these algorithmic holes that, corrupted his mind basically, which is very easy to do these days. And then it was super easy for him to get, like he was going on some type of army recog mission or whatever. Like it's crazy. It's crazy that in America you can order a gun and get it sent to you in the mail. Did you know that, Shar?
I,
As
I'm
long as
not
it's not
surprised
assembled,
now.
right? As long as it's not assembled, you can order a gun and get it mailed to you in the mail. And because it's not assembled, and if it's made out of there's different types of materials, whatever, but like kids can order it and kids are ordering it, like 16, 15, 12, whatever, right? Because how do you screen for that? How do you make sure that the person who's ordering it in the mail isn't a criminal already? You can't. So I mean, come on, this is crazy.
It is. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
I seen it come across the top of my Gmail. I just didn't click on it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, they're going to have to work it out. But you actually have the details because they have the details.
Right.
Isn't that something?
Right. Yeah,
You never
exactly.
get, that much at one time. That's what I'm really surprised about. You
That
normally don't.
that's what I'm saying. How did that never ever happens? Blown away that it's not even us, because sometimes I make the extra effort if it's us, but it just happened. It's a white teenager who's 18 years old, and we already know about his social media and this and that and what. They're always so careful to make sure. Like that's why we have hate crime laws, and yet they're almost never used when it comes to right.
Right.
Never. But they're already labeling it a hate crime. Like when the guy went and shot up a whole bunch of different Korean massage parlors, and they're like, well, we're not sure if it's racially motivated yet, right? Like that's
Mm-hmm.
for weeks they did that, months, but right away we're getting this information. So I don't know. I kind of feel like they might have had maybe like advanced. Not I won't say advanced notice, but they know a
Mm,
lot more, and maybe
right.
they didn't respond to the threat, but someone had maybe reported it or something. I don't know. Something's gonna come out.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, another story of significant other um, eliminating them. I just don't get this, but let's get into the story. And you see, I put my little note up there because I remember there's a saying about the dig in the ditch, so I just said I could put that up there.
Mm.
Man dies of heart attack while trying to bury girlfriend's body after he murders her. Police say Joseph McKinnon strangled Patricia Ruth Dent, then died of a heart attack while burying her body in his yard. Mm-mm. Shout out to South Carolina. I don't know what's going on, but a South Carolina man is dead after a sheriff said he collapsed from a heart attack while digging a pit to bury his girlfriend after killing her. Joseph McKinnon told a neighbor in Trenton, South Carolina, that the hole he was creating in his yard was meant for a water feature to enhance his garden. Edgefield County Sheriff Jody Rowland tells people. But when a different neighbor subsequently spotted McKinnon, 60 years old, I repeat, 60, that's six and a zero, years old, laying face down and motionless beside the pit on Saturday morning, police were called. We get here and determined that he apparently had a heart attack, Roland said. No trauma to his body. When no one else at home, deputies set out to locate and alert McKinnon's next of kin. However, he says, we had a hard time finding his significant other. Authorities searching for McKinnon's live-in girlfriend, Patricia Ruth Dent, 65 years old, tried to reach her at her workplace, only to learn that her co-workers had been texting Dent with no response since 7:30 a.m., which was extremely not like her, Rowland said. Everybody was concerned before we even got there. Deputies returned their focus to the couple's residence. We continue to investigate the yard and this huge garden, Rowland said. The house had been freshly cleaned, but we were able to identify blood in the house that tested for hers. That took us back to the pit he was digging. We got down in the pit and started digging around, he says. We uncovered it enough that we found black garbage bags. When opened the bags, when opened, the bags reveal a body bound with tape, and the forensic team was called in. It really took it really took them off. Is that right? It really took. Oh, I what do you call that when you reverse the words? I'm like, that doesn't make sense. It really took off then, says Sheriff. Deputies tracked down eyewitnesses to compile a timeline of the couple's last hours, and on Monday learned the results of the autopsies performed on the pair. We were very certain that we thought had what had happened. She had been hit in the face, but that wasn't certainly the death blow. The autopsy proved that she died of strangulation. His autopsy proved he died of a massive heart attack. What in the world is going on? There was no pictures of the couple. I was curious because I'm trying to figure out, sometimes you can look at a person to see if there's some mental illness or whatever. I couldn't find a picture of them. It may be out there now. I didn't look today, so I apologize. But that was pretty sad. And at first, you could say, well, the people were young. Well, sometime the couple was expecting a child, and you always look at the husband. Well, what can you say with a 60 and a 65-year-old? And the 65-year-old woman, she was out the house at times working. So, what the heck is going on? What is wrong with these people?
Girl, we've been talking about how COVID,
Gee.
how the Rona has either brought people together or made them murderous, apparently. But it's true. Just all the pressure. If it wasn't the fact that you were stuck at home with each other when you didn't used to be, or you were isolated now and you couldn't go out and enjoy things, it's literally all the pressures from the money troubles that you had, or the limitations. And I think really that's what we have ultimately seen. I mean, I think most people are not kind of, going to this extreme. But it's still this idea that people you thought were going to work out maybe forever, and then they're at each other's throats and calling for divorce ever since, Rona, really. I think
This is
that's what
just crazy. I mean, I don't know because I'm a person, I like peace.
it is.
And I've always been that way. It was in my home. I never seen my parents fight, argue, none of that. So I like the quietness.
Right.
So I'm not going to argue with you. If I'm having company, or even when it just kind of just doesn't feel right, I'll ask the guy to leave.
Mm-hmm.
Hush, Don Teasy. And I have no problem with that. And I've, told the story where I was having an issue with the guy we were living together.
Mm-hmm.
And I went as far as going to sleep in the bathtub because I didn't want to hear it.
Yes,
I'm
I
about
remember that story.
I'm about solving problems. I'm listening, when people, yeah, such and such, such, and I'm listening, trying to figure out what is the problem, what can I do about it, if I can. I listened. There was nothing I was able to solve. So I'm like, well, I got to get up in the morning. It's late.
Mm-hmm.
So if you just want to just talk, we can talk tomorrow. Nope. That's solving the problem. He didn't like that. He wanted to keep going, and that went on till I, finally just tuned it out enough to go to sleep. He saw I was going to sleep. He poked me. I'm like, oh no. I got up, went and got in the bathtub. He comes in there, and I said, okay, if you're going to continue this, I'm leaving. I'm going to go sleep in the car. So what do you want? Because you're not going to keep doing this. So I don't get it. I know how to remove myself, and I think others should do the same thing. If you need some air, just go get some. It's all right.
Mm-hmm. I think some people are like that, but some people actually, because I'm not one of those people who wants or necessarily needs space. I'm more one of those people where the longer I'm sitting with it on my own, it's getting worse, not better. So I don't do as well with that. So I think that's what ends up
Mm-hmm.
happening. You get two people who have radically different ways of coping. um and so, someone like me, I mean, I've learned how to work with it, right? But when I was younger, no, I would just keep chasing you, right? I don't care where you're trying to go, you're not walking away till we've resolved this, right? And meanwhile, it's like, resolve this, I'm gonna throw you out a window in a second, right? Like, so it's like, you have to just think.
Mm-mm.
I know. uh,
Know thyself. That's all I could say.
true fact, true fact. All right, y'all. Well, this is a weird one. This is a weird one. This is a sad one. I know I'm doing all these sad stories today. But I use this meme all the time. I think that's what tripped me out about it. I use this meme all the time. And honestly, we don't even think about the human beings behind the memes, right? Like, we don't. Um, and for this meme, if y'all, I don't know if y'all have heard the story. Maybe you have, maybe you haven't. I guess we'll see. But this meme, this girl, I remember her. She's toddlers and tiaras, and this beautiful little girl in these pageants made the creepiest little face, and it was epic. She was very young, and now she's a teenager, and she's died. Unfortunately, she committed suicide. So, when we're talking about how Rona is impacting, people really negatively, yeah, it's affecting the youth too. And I don't think we talk enough about that. But okay, let's take a listen to this story.
All right.
Toddlers and Tiara star Kylie Posey has died just 2 weeks after her 16th birthday.
Okay.
Oh, what?
And
That's
days
sad.
after
Oh, there
attending
we go.
prom. Her devastated family revealing the teen committed suicide in a, quote, rash decision to end her earthly life.
Our senior reporter, Caitlin Becker, is joining us now from the Los Angeles newsroom with more about this one. And Caitlin, what do we know about the circumstances around her death at such a young age?
Well, Thomas, Kylia's name might sound familiar to toddlers and Tiara's fans, but internet users everywhere will recognize her as the girl behind this meme with an ear-to-ear
You see,
smile that's
y'all
on
see that,
TikTok
right?
viral.
Okay.
Yes.
Kylia's mom took to Facebook to share her heartbreak, writing, quote, "I don't have words or any thoughts. A beautiful baby girl is gone." Her death was initially reported as a car accident, Thomas, but now we're learning that the 16-year-old was found in a parked car at Birch Bay State Park in Washington. And Thomas, she had just turned 16 on April 19th.
Well, we're certainly sending much love and strength to Kalia's family and friends at this really difficult time. Caitlin Becker reporting for us. Caitlin, thanks.
Now, I don't know. I'm going to tell y'all that this story is tripping me out. And I'll tell you why it's tripping me out. Because depending on which source you read, when you read it, um, the story, the circumstances change. And I
Mm.
think that's weird because I just feel like it's not like it's such a crazy complicated story. A young teen girl who's 16 takes her own life. It shouldn't be so hard to keep track of the storyline. So they want to report it as a car accident, but then they obviously reported it as, self
Hmm.
removal, and then now she was in a car, but then she hung herself. Like, I mean, literally, the
Oh.
story keeps changing, and it's freaking me out a little bit
Mhm.
because I feel like it's a lot more straightforward than that. Like, how do you, if the story is that she, hung herself, well, then how was she found in a car that was parked,
Right.
right? And if she got into a car accident, then how do you confuse that with hanging? Like, and on one side I'm like, okay, well, maybe the parents are playing damage control, right? That's initially what I thought. Maybe the parents are just playing damage control. They didn't want it to come out that, maybe to not affect her young fans or her siblings, or I don't know, right? That's what I thought at first. But I'm like, when I heard this story, the story I just played for you there, right? When I heard that story, I was like, nah, something's not right. Because that is now a whole different dimension. Now she was found in a parked car. Wait, I thought she hung herself. Um, how did the coroner? Because apparently the coroner has confirmed that it's a suicide, right? So if that's the case, what are you guys talking about? Like, it's confusing. So because I mean there are ways, obviously, in a parked car, right? You could do the thing where I'm not going to explain it, but the point is you can inside of a parked car, but then that's not hanging. It's not the same thing. So why would they say that? Like
Right.
it it's really weird. It's really weird. I've been following this story since I saw it about a week ago, and the longer I follow it, the more confused I get and the more questions I have. Not less, more. So I don't know. I don't know what's going on, y'all. Um, you know, she grew up to be a very, very gorgeous young woman. Obviously, you can see here, and it's a tragedy. However, her life was lost is a tragedy that a 16-year-old girl's gone forever. I hope we get some clarification on the story. I feel like something's not right. I kind of feel like this is like an older version of John Benet Ramsey. Like it's
Okay.
on that level. Like John Benet Ramsey, we still don't have the answers, but we all know something ain't right. Like one of those. That's what I
Right.
feel. I feel like we're gonna get to that point with this story.
Yeah, a lot of times family is they don't want the truth out because they could be embarrassed. It's their little angel,
Hmm.
and they don't want to say my little angel suffered from whatever it was, and they did this to cope, or we didn't know how to deal with that, so we ignored it, or we did this, or we did that. So sometimes people don't want to give the details for shame,
Hmm.
you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow. And I love the meme. Just
Yeah.
think these people, you'll always remember their face, you know?
Right. Right. I went to go use it the other day, right? Because I use it so often, and I was like, I feel like it's in bad taste now. But like that's crazy, right? But like it's weird. Like how do we interact with these, celebrity level memes and stuff like that when the person now has passed away? Well, what do you just keep using it like it ain't nothing? Do you use it but then go RIP after? Like I don't know. I just feel like there's like an etiquette here that as a society we need to determine and develop that we haven't yet, and I feel super weird about it. I'm gonna be real with you. I don't know. I don't know what to do. Do I use the meme or not?
Right, because the face is like, the face is joyful,
Yeah.
and how, and you know the backstory or part of it.
Mm-hmm.
How do you ignore that? So I understand what you're saying.
Exactly. And I don't know. Maybe she hated that meme, which wouldn't matter. I mean, everyone kind of sort of hates their memes, but maybe they like the fame or did it. But I mean, she always hated it. She was a kid. She didn't have control over whether she was in these pageants or whether she was on the TV show. That was on her parents, right? So maybe
Right.
she hated it. Maybe she resented the meme. I don't know. Am I, disrespecting her memory or her, like I don't know. I hate it. I hate when people. I don't do well with awkward social situations since I don't do well with normal social situations. Yeah. So difficult for me. So difficult.
Yeah, and I always like to know the end of a story, so
Mm-hmm.
um, I'm going to keep my eye open as well to get some clarification. You know,
Exactly. Exactly. Mm-hmm.
wow. Well, this is my last story tonight. It's a little bit lengthy, and I figured I'll use it to talk about, fraud,
Mm-hmm.
and sometimes you just don't know. You just don't have a way of not being a victim. Having to move from a different state or city, don't you think that's a big thing? That's something huge. You give your information, you find out how much it costs, you got to get your money together, pack things up, or find out if the company pack things for you, because they do have that service for the extra fee. And these are your valuables. They're valuable to you, even if it's your t-shirts with the holes in them. You like wearing that on Sunday, watching the game. You
Mm-hmm.
know,
Mm-hmm.
that's what you like. And for it to be tampered with, stolen, mishandled, all those things, and we've heard stories like that. This story, I don't know, it just did something to me because it was too touchy. You messed with my money, you had my belongings, and I paid you. So let's take a listen.
$1,000 in just a few weeks. It happened after investigators say a worker at a Florida moving company stole the man's bank account information, then went on a spending spree.
And ever since, the dead man's family has pleaded with Truist Bank to investigate their fraud complaint. Well, that bank is headquartered here in Charlotte, and the family turned to Queen City News for help. Here's Chief Investigator Jody Barr with tonight's moving money investigation.
Okay, so this is showing you the checks that passed through the account starting in December of 21 and so on. That's the last legitimate check I wrote. That check is number 1123, and as you can see here, it's the estate of James Leslie McLean Jr. with me as the executor. If you go to this check, it's not even in sequence. It's not 1124 like it should be. It's 5001.
Perrin Davis still can't believe his bank missed it.
I can't even make this out, but it's to a website address. So it's not even a proper identifier, but they put our account information down here. They cashed that check. And instead of it having the proper identifying information here, it has Kayla Johnson at 41st Southeast 51st Street in Miami. And they cashed this check.
Do you know Kayla Johnson in Miami?
No, absolutely not.
Between December and February, someone drained Perrin Davis's account of every bit of the $133,000 in it.
And it's not my money. It's the money of my deceased father. It's his estate account. I'm responsible for that. I have to report to the probate court about that. So what am I supposed to do? Tell them, oh, well, the money's gone? I can't do that.
Bank statements show multiple electronic payment transfers and checks Davis says he never wrote, made out to people and places he's never heard of.
So they're using our account information down here, but they're putting random people's names and addresses here, and the bank's been cashing those checks.
Davis opened the account after his father died. The withdrawals started in November when Davis paid Imperial Freight Lines LLC out of Florida to move his father's belongings. On November 12th and 22nd, Davis made 2 payments to Imperial Freight Lines totaling $3,500. His bank statement shows Imperial hit his account again for $1 the following day. Then the party started.
Starting the day after the move was completed until February, they depleted the account over $130,000. Here's another check for $8,286 to Imperial Freight Lines from a Brad Hughes at another Gmail address using our account information, and the bank cashed all these checks. Why are they cashing checks from people? That's insane.
And just the fact that it's Gmail account or web addresses, that's something new on me. Now, hearing that, I know enough to know that something is going on the inside. I'm like, how do you miss that? That there's something going on there. This is awful. I'll play some more.
Davis didn't have a clue this was happening. He initially opened his account with SunTrust, a bank merged with BB&T to create Truist Bank. Davis said the bank wouldn't allow online access for estate accounts, and he had no way to monitor it from his home in Philadelphia. Davis only learned the account was drained in February when he tried to pay a probate attorney and the check bounced.
Red alert. It should have been impossible. There was over $130,000 in that account, and it's impossible to wrap your mind around. How can this happen? I thought that I was dealing with a reputable bank that had safeguards in place, and they obviously failed.
Davis suspected the moving company of stealing his money. He called his bank and filed a fraud report, which seemed to get his bank's attention.
After I filed the fraud case on the 11th, I got 4 emails between the 14th and the 18th saying, "Oh, you have a potential fraud alert. You need to get online and check."
Okay, so I tell you what happened, and now you're telling me, oh, you know what? I think something's going on. You don't say. You don't say. And then you have it where your bank doesn't have it where I can use online access. That's the other thing. Okay, yeah. So, but you're going to tell me, okay, all right, let's continue.
Check your account. So they didn't bother to do this while the fraud was happening. This is after all the money was gone. And then they're telling me to log in online and check my account when they wouldn't allow the estate account to have online access. And then after all the money's gone, then they start blowing my email up saying, oh, there's fraud. We're seeing a higher than normal level of activity. Why didn't they do it when the fraud was happening?
There's multiple banks across the country, not just in Broward County, right across the United States.
Perrin Davis also contacted Lauderhill Police Detective Richard Clark for an investigation.
You've uncovered what appears to be a pretty large case of fraud.
Absolutely. Yes. Organized.
The detective opened a fraud investigation and found Perrin Davis's suspicions were correct. He was a fraud victim, and the target of the investigation was the Florida moving company he'd hired just a few months earlier.
And here is a copy of a check.
While Clark was investigating the bank records, the department got a call from Imperial Freight Lines owner asking for an investigation into one of its own. The company accused an employee of faking moving contracts, using stolen banking information to pay the contracts, and the worker would get paid commission. Clark knew then his target wasn't the company, but someone on the inside.
During the course of my investigation, I was contacted by the owner of Imperial Freight Lines, LLC. That was on the 24th of March. He came to the police department and made an allegation that his business, his company, was a victim of fraud by his employee. He named the employee to be Bruce Horner.
Bruce Horner's been here before. Lauderhill police confirm this Bruce Horner is the same Bruce Horner investigated by the Secret Service in 2007, an investigation that led federal prosecutors to charge Horner with stealing credit card information from customers of his Florida restaurant, then taking $100,000 from them. Prosecutors also accused Horner of depositing $4.6 million into his personal bank account, money he stole using bad checks.
How did he slip under the radar? I mean, the felony, he has a big old F on his forehead. How did he slip under the radar to be able to have access to accounts, to anything with an account? Do you know when you apply for positions, they're doing all these background checks and fingerprinting, all for a minimum wage job? Probably even trying to ask for your hair sample. This dude got away with all. I mean, he should be straight for all the money that he stole. He should be straight.
Right.
Honestly, he should be straight and gone and out the country. Actually, he has enough to leave, but he kept on. I mean, greed is something else, but I think there's more. Let's see.
Horner pleaded guilty the following year, and a judge sentenced him to more than 7 years in federal prison.
When we searched the vehicle, these are just photographs of a couple of the sheets we took from the notebook. And inside his vehicle were about 11 notebooks. And inside those notebooks are records of routing and account numbers for different account holders, numbering 55.
Meaning somewhere out there, investigators are looking for 55 other potential victims. Now, 14 years after his federal conviction, Bruce Horner is facing prosecution again.
And that's when I made contact with Mr. Horner, visited him at his employer, and arrested him there.
We went to Lauderhill, Florida, to find Imperial Freight Lines, LLC, which turns out is on the second floor of the Truist Bank building.
You can't even make that up. Talk about irony.
The same bank Perrin Davis is fighting with now.
I mean, this is how much notes I have.
The same bank, Lauderhill police accused the Imperial Freight Lines employee of stealing $133,000 from. All right, let's go. We made several attempts over the course of 3 weeks to speak with Imperial Freight Lines owner. We didn't get a response, so we went to the company's Florida office where police arrested Bruce Horner just a few weeks ago. How you doing?
Hi, how's it going?
Good, good. I'm looking for Mr. Hoffman.
Not in here, not in this office, bro. I mean, not that I know of.
This is Imperial?
Yeah, it is.
Okay. I called last week and left a message. I'm with Fox News out of Charlotte. And haven't heard back, so we were trying to find some way to get a hold of them. We're about to run a news report on Bruce Horner and the allegations with him, and we're trying to get someone from here to talk with us. So
Yeah, well, if you'll call back, I mean, that's all I can tell you.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll give him another shout. Thank you. Do you think Imperial set themselves up for what's happened now?
Absolutely. A simple background check would have done it. A phone call, it's easy. Or like you and I did, get on the website and type the guy's name in and you find it. They set themselves up not only for me and the other 50 people, but they brought this on themselves. You don't put a wolf in the hen house and expect things to be okay.
When we interviewed Davis last month, he hadn't heard from Truist Bank in nearly a month. The bank's credited Perrin Davis around $112,000 so far, but Davis says the bank still, 3 months later, owes him more than $21,000 to correct the fraud the bank missed.
This was 2 hours, 31 minutes, and 34 seconds.
After weeks of calls and waiting and no help from Truist, Davis had nowhere else to turn. What are you supposed to do?
I don't know. That's why I called you guys. Everything that could have failed did fail. And I don't know at this point that there's anything that they could do to reestablish their trust. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me.
We asked Truist Bank for an interview to explain what happened here. Citing privacy laws, the bank declined and sent us a statement instead.
Don't nobody want your statement. We know you're not going to get on camera and say nothing. But the interesting thing is the name of the bank looks like the word trust. How ironic. Looks like the word trust. I'm like, okay.
Mm,
When I'm talking
mm,
about crime, I'm talking about some insider stuff.
hmm
It's just amazing. And I'm just wondering if we ever going to hear who's on that inside.
No, no, never. That's not how that works.
Never ever.
Never, ever. Listen, we could make a whole song just about that. Okay, that's how many never evers there's gonna be in that. No, nope. Unless whoever it is stops kissing the ring, and then they'll get caught like Epstein, right? But other than that, no, absolutely not. Right? They all play ball, and then they all let the little people fry for them. But no, absolutely not. No, that's not the way that works. I'm sorry.
Nah, I guess not.
Sad but true. Listen, guys, I mean, that's like a cancerous society. Let's be real. So, I thought my last news story of the night should be about cancer too. I know, but real cancer. Actually, it's some good news. It's some good news. So they have been doing studies on cancer since forever. I mean, obviously, we know they were researching it so hard that at one point they entirely cured it, and then that got burnt down, and all the information got lost. So we just can't repeat it again, despite decades more of advanced information and knowledge. But it's okay. It's fine. I'm sure they're still really trying. However, in the meantime, Yale has identified the causes of cancer. Yeah. Right. So that's always been the most scary thing I think about cancer for most people, right? It seems to be this mystery um contagion, right? That strikes without warning, that you don't know how you caused it, if you caused it, even when we say, oh well, smoking leads to, lung cancer or whatever, right? Like in what way? Because you got people who smoke until they're 140 and they don't get cancer. So just like cause it. And so there's even people who have the BRCA1 gene, right? But they don't necessarily develop cancer. And people who don't have the BRCA1 gene, but then get breast cancer anyway. So there's always been, I think that's the worst thing. It's like, how do you get this thing? Or rather, how do you avoid it? Right. And since there's never been an answer, I think that's why we are all so scared of it. Because once you get it, other than, pumping your body full of some type of poison, be it radiation or chemo, that's it. That's all they wrote for you, right? So I was like, oh, look at this. They identified causes of cancer. Okay, so let's see what they found out. Okay. So this team of researchers led by Yale University scientists can now quantify the factors causing changes in the DNA that contribute most to cancer growth in tumors of most major tumor types. In a new paper published in the journal, I just clicked on something, sorry, there you go. In a new paper published in the journal Molecular Biology and Evolution, they say that their new molecular analysis approach clarifies a long standing debate about how much control humans have over cancer development over time. Looking at the instances of specific genetic mutations can reveal the extent to which preventable exposures, like ultraviolet light, caused tumor growth in 24 cancers, said Jeffrey Townsend, PhD. There's a whole bunch of other things and blah, 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 blah. We can now answer the question to the best of our knowledge. What is the underlying source of the key mutations that change those cells to become a cancer instead of remaining normal tissue? Now that's interesting because I thought, right, that cancer like started off as cancer. I didn't realize that cancer took normal tissue and changed it into a cancerous one. I thought like it always was a cancer tissue. I don't know if that is making sense,
I
but
understand.
yeah, okay. So I didn't know that. So I was like, oh, I already learned something. Okay. So, some of the most common cancers in the United States are known to be highly preventable by human decision. Skin cancer, such as melanoma, emerge in large part because of prolonged exposure to ultraviolet light, and lung cancers can often be traced back to tobacco use. But scientists have long struggled to gauge how much any individual's tumor developed as a result of preventable actions versus aging or even chance. Previously, scientists have demonstrated that they can reliably predict how certain factors that cause specific mutations um, alter the genome in tissues. So they combine that knowledge with their method that quantifies the contribution of each mutation to cancer. And so, doing that, Townsend and his colleagues showed that the specific percentage of the blame to be assigned to known and unknown but identified factors in the emergence of cancer. So basically, this is giving us the last puzzle. So they can now quantify, they can say 10% to genetic factors and 25% to because you smoked and 11% because of your crappy diet. So basically, they can literally tell you now, right? If it's 80% all lifestyle or if it's 80% all genetics, what is causing these particular cancers. And so one of the examples that they gave us was for tumors of the bladder and skin, right? So they found that for tumors of the bladder and skin, preventable factors account for the largest part of the formation of those tumors. But when you're talking about, say, prostate cancers and gliomas, those are largely attributable due to internal age associated processes, right? So one is basically either aging, right? And like the prostate one. You can live the greatest life you want to live. You can be super healthy, guys, and whatever. You still got to go get those prostate checks because the fact of the matter is, as long as you're getting older, that's really what causes prostate cancer, not your lifestyle choices, right? So, this is like really, really useful information for us to know because I think a lot of people think like it's all or nothing, right? Like, as long as I live a healthy life, as long as I don't smoke, as long as I don't drink, as long as I don't this, as long as I don't that. But no, actually, they can now quantify it and tell you, yeah, sure, you're going to avoid certain types of cancers, but there are other types of cancers that you're going to get just because of your age, just because of your gender, just because of the fact that you eat meat versus being vegan. I mean, they have so many different factors. And so they are currently making an index, okay? And then they're going to release that index, and then hopefully we can kind of incorporate that into, the medical system, and then people will be able to make better decisions. So, oh, that's pretty cool.
All right.
Right?
Nice.
Yeah, yeah. So there you go, guys. Now we know what causes cancer and exactly how much of what causes cancer.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right, you people. I know you're excited and you're ready for them Kens and Karens. I already know you got your bird hands together. I can see you in the chat room. I see you. Absalom Pinoki, I see you. I see you. But
Mm.
let's see what Karen got to say. She always up in somebody's face. What you say, Karen?
The way coronavirus. You are Karen.
Bam.
Never gets old. Never gets old. Never gets old. Nope. Uh, now, y'all, I told y'all I kind of have like a low key, shall we say, low key theme to our Karens of the night, right? And that's just because we happen to have several Kens and Karens that involve celebrities. In fact, we even have one of our very own homegrown celebrity Ken Karen instances. Okay. And that is something you will catch later. So first we're going to talk about Ezra Miller. Now, Ezra Miller, y'all know who Ezra Miller is? Ezra Miller, he's an actor, right? I think I don't want to say that. I'm going to be wrong if I say what he was in. Because I recognize him, but I'm terrible at recognizing people. He was in a lot of things here. The Flash, The Perks of Being a Wallflower, Fantastic Beasts, Zack Snyder's The Justice League, Justice League, Justice League Part 2, Trainwreck. Okay, so he has been, or I guess they, because they are non-binary, they have been in a lot of different things. And so they went to Hawaii and they decided to run amok, shall we say. Okay. And so now they are being arrested and they feel that apparently they can choose. I don't know. I mean, it is like this in some countries. So you clarify for me, Shar. In America, if you're a woman, right, are you allowed to demand that it's a woman who searches you? Like a woman cop searches you, a woman cop is the one who arrests you. Are you allowed to demand that?
For a frisk, you can request it.
Okay.
You can request it. Now I know on the inside when you go inside, but on the outside, if you just committed the crime or whatever, I don't know the law on that. And I'm going to say because it makes sense that we got to search you to make sure that we okay, man, female, dog, or cat. So that's the information I have.
That's what I would think too. And I mean, I know, for example, in Jamaica, it is actually like that. They are not allowed to even search a woman's purse. If there's a woman in the car, you just load her up with all of your criminal stuff, right? Because most cops are men in Jamaica. The men, they will pull every man out of the car. You don't have to be driving nothing. They can search all of y'all, they can whatever. But the woman, if they want the woman to be searched or touched or questioned in any way, a woman cop has to come. Like it's not even something you request, right? And some countries are like that, but from my understanding, North America wasn't like that. But Ezra Miller feels otherwise. Let's take a listen.
I've already declared himself as a Nazi. I have it on film, and he attacked me. I'm not transgender, non-binary. I don't want to be searched by a man. I'm transgender, non-binary, and I don't want to be searched by a man. I claim my Fourth Amendment right.
That says the Flash actor Ezra Miller was arrested in Hawaii after a confrontation in a bar. One alleged victim told police Miller attacked him and spit in his face.
Hope that music isn't copywritten.
Yeah. 29. Oh, well, fine now.
I'm assaulted in this bar twice in a row. I film myself when I get assaulted for NFT crypto art. What's your name? What's your badge number? Tell me your name and your badge number. White key.
Ezra.
Full
Ezra.
name, full badge number. Tell me your name and your badge number. Tell me your name and your badge number. Please don't touch me. Tell me your name and your badge number. Now. Tell me your name and your badge number now.
136.
You.
Get off the road.
I love celebrity kind of Karens.
I'm being arrested for disorderly conduct.
Yeah.
I was assaulted. You understand, right?
Yeah.
Well, you should have told us that instead of running away and playing all of these theatrics. You could have just told us that.
I'm sorry.
No, you're not
officer.
sorry. You could have took anything real quick. But no, you wanted to play the game.
I was complying.
Well, you the ones that complained.
I was. You said get off the road. I got off the road.
No, you didn't.
I did. I got off the edge of the road.
Isn't that what we always? He was complying. He was complying. He was listening. He was showing them mad respect, right? Like the whole first 2 minutes of this video never happened, right? At all, because he was complying. He was great. Yeah. What? You guys? That's not what you guys saw? Oh.
For 13150. What did I do wrong?
Getting arrested for
He's
disorderly
somebody's face. A guy in that bar declared himself as a Nazi. I have it on film, and he attacked me.
As police, okay, hold on. Get this sound away. Now, as police searched Miller, he can be heard yelling, "I'm transgender, non-binary, and I don't want to be searched by a man."
Yes, he said that.
Right? Yeah. Right. Yeah, we got it.
Rights to not be unlawfully persecuted for a crime of no designation, disorderly conduct being something I am unguilty of. I claim my Fourth Amendment rights to not be searched and seized on no probable cause that you will not be able to offer in a court of law.
What?
I claim my Fourth Amendment rights to not be searched and seized. Please do not touch my ring.
Just to come off.
Okay.
You'll get it right
My
after.
Fourth Amendment
Sir,
rights
sir,
to
it's
not
gonna
have
be right
search
here,
and
okay?
seizure
We're just letting you know it's gonna be right here.
unlawfully without probable cause. I claim my Fourth Amendment rights to not be unlawful. Hey, you just touched my penis. Please don't do that.
They
I'm not
love this
transgender,
amendment
non-binary.
stuff.
I don't want to be searched by a man. I'm transgender, non-binary, and I don't want to be searched by a man. I claim my Fourth Amendment rights. Those are Nerf guns, just in case you worry that they're bullets. Those are Nerf bullets.
Thank you for letting
They
me
are fake and they are a toy.
Thank you for letting me.
But he's laughing now. He was so offended 10 seconds ago, but now he laughing. Like, he was just lying. He was just trying to do what he could to hopefully stop the arrest in its tracks, right? That's all it was. Like, my amendment rights. Amendment. I said amendment. Why are you guys listening? Constitution. Why is it even like Constitution? Like, that is a Ken and Karen thing.
Nerf bullets.
I appreciate that.
Please don't take them from me. The flash ring means a lot to me.
Sir, you're being arrested.
Right?
What do you think this is?
I'm always blown away that they don't understand like life. Like that's what it's like. You just don't understand life. I don't know. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
It's all right, Ezra. You do you. Yeah. Char, I'm gonna sing a song.
Okay.
Because I think that you will recognize the song. I'm pretty sure actually we played it on Keep the Beat, maybe season 1 or 2. I don't know. But okay. All around the world, statues crumble for me. Who knows how long I love you? I just want to fly. Put your arms around me, baby. Put your arms. Remember the song?
It sounds familiar.
It's Fly by Sugar Ray.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So I'm sure one of y'all in the audience, I was great. So I'm sure one of y'all guessed. So okay. Sugar Ray, aka Mark McGrath, was caught acting a fool. An entitled, silly fool. Now, his issue, quite simply, and honestly, I was listening to it. Y'all can listen too. Because it sounded to me like he started really acting wild because someone called him Sugar Ray. And I was like, that's the name of your, I'm confused. But apparently he thought, and maybe it's true, that the guy called him Sugar Gay.
Oh.
Yeah. So all of this acting up is because he was called, apparently, Sugar Gay. Let's take a listen.
Oh, gentlemen, make a hole. Move it. Sugar Gay. Who said Sugar Gay? I'm beating your fucking ass. Who said that? Did you? No. I'll choke your fucking face. You say that? No, I didn't say anything. You ready to smart?
Did I say anything?
Did I say anything? Did you say something?
No, I did not say anything.
I'll choke your fucking head.
He feels so tough, like he's intimidating 17-year-old children who are like a head shorter than you.
And he wasn't bothered either. No, I didn't say it.
No. I didn't. Oh yeah? Oh, I'll take your head off.
As he walks away.
Right? Yeah. Super cool. Like I cannot believe everyone was in love with you in the 7th grade. I can't. I'm very embarrassed right now. Okay. Let's keep going.
Hey, Mark, can I get your autograph, man? Oh, man.
Yeah, you can.
All right, cool.
You beat the fuck out of that guy right there.
Which one? Tomorrow.
The one that Minnie Driver is going to do.
Yeah. Because he's not inciting violence right now or anything. This is totally legal for you to do as a star because, you know, you're entitled to say and do whatever you want. So you can absolutely tell your fans that they can get an autograph after they beat the shit out of someone else for you. That's fine. It's totally legal. It's fine. Yes. Okay.
Fucking face, you said it. Did I say anything?
Well, yes, you did. Hold on, he didn't finish his autograph.
I want to fucking know. You know, I'm so smart ass fucking herky-lip motherfucker. Like, go beat the fuck out of you. Go ahead. Get smart, dude. Get smart.
All right.
You little bitch ass shit. I'll fucking choke your fucking face. You know that?
Yeah.
You done? Are you done? Yeah, you're done. Pussy are you? Standing right here. These guys got some sack. These guys are you choke ass bitch. You'll never make it in this business. You're fucking.
Is he trying to make it in this business?
Squeeze your nipple right here.
Okay.
I'm standing here. I'm not do you want some meat? Do you want to get your fucking face thrown? Yeah, I heard you say something. What? I want Ashley Sonori. Fucking punch your face. Hey. You tell me that. You go home and get
It's the guy from Sugar Ray.
That's his favorite, actually.
It's the guy from Sugar Ray.
Sugar Ray. This guy's the biggest punk bitch you've ever seen.
Shoot, why don't you say it in our camera, man? Come on. Shit.
This guy right here, almost
right over here. Over here.
Right here. This guy needs to pay the bill. Show me out. Prison rape. What a little not just rape. Prison rape. I'll fuck you in the ass.
Don't
What?
say that. Don't say that.
No, he didn't say that. Nope. I didn't hear
told
that.
y'all. I told
did
y'all.
not hear that at all.
I told y'all it's a thing that men, this older generation of men have been taught to say when they are in a position where they're older and a younger person refused to show them some level of authority and deference. It's something they're programmed to say, probably because it was said to them. Because honestly, right? All right, I'm not trying to bring up hard times, BGS, but you know, BGS. That's what I said when BGS said it. Now look, Mark McGrath, okay? Mark McGrath, who still looks really young, right? A woman coming out the wazoo, clearly likes women. But he said the same thing in the same context. Some young person who being scared of you, refusing to bow to you, refusing to, fold to your authority, right? And you're so threatened by that because you're used to when you open your mouth and you speak, people listen, people respect you on that level, right? Because you're a Mark McGrath, because you are, this authority. And they don't know, like they take that for granted because they've been getting it for so long. They don't know how to deal with it when they don't get it anymore. They're really, look, I will F you into what?
Wow. Oh my! I don't know what to say. I didn't want to hear it, but I heard it, and I can't unhear it.
I know, right? Oh man, I was sitting on that. I knew it was coming. It was like, oh, I can't wait. I can't wait to shock Char with this one. Okay, let's keep going.
Yeah, I'm shocked.
I know, right? Okay.
Hey, you're done. You're done. You're nothing. See this? See this? Yeah. Smell my fart. You're nothing. All right. Sure. You tell me. All right, thanks a lot. You still here?
This guy's badass.
Still here? Look at you.
You got some new fans over here, Mark.
I love sugar right now. You got See this? Yeah, see this? I'm Dr. Evil Joe. I'm gonna go buy me a sugar ray and see it now. Look, your Hyundai's over there.
Yeah. So.
Oh my goodness.
So Mark McGrath is doing well.
Okay. All right. Okay. Oh.
Like, what do you say? Remember when Mark McGrath used to be somebody?
Yes, I do. I remember.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that I'm sure this was as hard for him as it was for him. Okay, so up next, y'all, we have a local. Dearly departed to some. And I wish this had come out before. But for those people who are saying, oh, you guys are pulling up stuff from 1942, I would like to look at part 1 of this video, which clearly demonstrates, let's be real, a black man in a face mask, which has never happened until the start of COVID. So, therefore, this has to have taken place sometime since March of 2020. That much we know for sure, because let's be real. Black folk did not wear face masks in public, walking around, wearing these. We didn't do that. right? Like if it was an Asian person, I've seen Asian people when there were other scares wear face masks around for a bit or stuff, or like, you know, they have different rules in Asia that they're used to growing up with. But black folk, we don't have them rules. So if you see black folk in a picture or a video with a mask on their face, it's because Rona happened. Let's be real.
Yes.
All right. Now, I'll tell you what this says. It says Kevin Samuels and the lady he lived with. Now, I'm not sure if he lived with her. It seems as though she is the landlord or the owner of a house, and that house has several tenants. And in those tenants, Kevin Samuels is one of them. Now, that is what I got thus far. Let's take a listen.
Station. I won't be happy to let you talk as long as you were telling me you were going to get the car fixed.
Oh wait,
and
no,
you're going to
go
fix
back a little.
station.
Okay.
Station. I won't be happy to let you talk as long as you were telling me you were going to get the car fixed. And you're going to fix. I've done nothing.
Well, okay. Let's go to video 2. I mean, maybe
Okay.
maybe video 2 we'll get the rest of the explanation, right? So okay, the power bill spiked, and so your landlord contacted you and sent multiple communications because the power bill spiked.
Oh, yeah, because everyone was in the house 2020.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, you know what? I think what we will do is, because you know what I'm thinking, and that's literally what she ends up saying, right? As everyone was in the house 2022. But you know, I'm gonna play the other one. The thing is, I wanted to play the one that isn't directly on TikTok because it had that stupid thing at the very beginning, that super loud voice that goes, "Hey guys, so this is what the video is about to say," really loud over what the video is saying, and then you missed that whole beginning part.
Oh,
So I wanted to play that so that we got to hear the beginning. But that being said, I'm gonna play actually now. I'm gonna play the clip that was actually on TikTok. So you've heard the beginning few words now. So you're not gonna miss them. All right, let's take a listen. All right. Share. Add to stream. I'm not new, I swear. I got this.
Here, renting rooms.
I've done nothing. Not you responsible, the whole entire house responsible, Kevin. Since the stay-at-home notification of COVID, everyone's working from home. The power, the water, the gas is exponentially. No, it's not harassment. You know what, Kevin? Recording Kevin Samuels removing the cardboard again from out from under his car. This video will be submitted to the HOA for repercussions of
wait a
this
minute. Could you pause
automobile
that?
from the
Did she,
premise.
did she say she's going to report to the HOE?
I think she said HOA.
Oh, okay. Wow.
HOE would have been funnier. But I think that's interesting. So the power bill spikes. Okay. So then you contact the whole house, what she said, to let everybody in the house know that the power bill spiked and therefore everybody is responsible. Everyone who lives here is responsible for that price increase. So we're all going to be paying more now.
Right. Yeah.
And then Kevin Samuel said, "You're trying to make me responsible. And that's why I'm ignoring your communications," which is why she keeps sending more.
Oh, you have to respond even if you don't agree. That's one thing when it comes down to uh, property owners.
Right. I mean, that's how I would think about it. Now we're about to get into the car issue in a second, but I want y'all to just hear that again because I don't think it was processing what's happening. Like, forget all the calling him poor and whatever parts of this situation or scenario, right? Because the question really is who's the Ken and who's the Karen and who's the innocent victim. That's what I'm asking y'all. I'm not making this. I'm just asking y'all which one is which. Now, I want y'all to listen again, given the context we gave you.
Trying to make me responsible for it.
Not you responsible, the whole entire house responsible, Kevin. Since the stay-at-home notification of COVID, everyone's working from home. The power, the water, the gas is exponentially. No, it's not harassment. You know what, Kevin?
So,
just recording.
So you weren't here. So are you saying that you pay rent in a shared accommodation with a bunch of other people that you don't live in? At all?
Yeah, you have to. You can't say, well, you had 2 glasses of water, he had 3, and that one over there had 10. They're going to divide it by the number of people, and that's going to be the bill.
Right. That's what it is. That's what the bill is. If you get rent plus utilities, right? Like it's not all in one inclusive cost, say $900 all in, right? Then that's what it is. And it doesn't matter if you weren't there. It doesn't. Everyone is still splitting those utilities equally. Everyone's still splitting that. Like that's what it is. Like you don't get to argue your way out of that. That's okay. Like what? But okay. And now we have part 2, which is the car situation. Okay.
Kevin Samuels moving cardboard again from out from under his car. This video will be submitted to the HOA for repercussions of the removal of his automobile from the premises. I got all the spots with all the oil all over them, bud. I don't care. I don't care. The oil is right all over the place.
Don't leave the
cardboard.
Did you see how expensive that area is?
Yeah.
And
all the oil all over them, bud.
Right. Because you can see, like, look at that house across the street, man. This is beautiful, tender, everything. Like, and you're just gonna leave that there?
Wow.
Yeah, that's trashy. Let's be real. It's very trashy. I'm just saying y'all decide. I'm not trying to tell y'all what to think or feel about anything, but really, like just really.
Wow.
Okay. You know what? Listen, I don't have another celebrity one, but we should sneak in one more. So, what do we want to do? We want to do a police. We want to do a lift. What do you think would go well today, Sean?
Lift.
Lift. All right. Let's do Karen and the Lyft driver. Now I like this guy. This guy reminds me of my stories I tell y'all when I work in customer service, over the phone at the cell phone company, and racist folk would call in, and then criticize other people who had like mild accents. They were perfectly easy to understand. They just happened to sound like maybe they were not born and raised in Canada, and they wanted to be ignorant. And then they thought that they could, as soon as they got me, right? Oh yeah, I could unload all of my racialism. Okay, that's basically what happened. Let's take a quick listen here. He's waiting for Karen. There she is.
Hello, Jackie, right? How are you?
Greeted her.
He greeted her, and then she said, "Oh, finally got a white guy."
Dang.
That's what she said. Like, okay. That's why he was like, pardon? Okay. All right, let's go.
Excuse me?
Like a normal guy, like you speak English. Sorry.
No, you can get out of the car. Cancel a ride. That's inappropriate. What? That's completely inappropriate. If somebody was not white sitting in the seat, what would you do?
Are you serious?
She said, "Wow, you're a white guy."
Now, what I think is amazing, right? So at this
Mm-hmm.
point, I think to myself, okay, maybe he's being a little extreme. Maybe he's being a little judgmental. Maybe she's drunk. She said what she said, but she didn't mean it that way. Okay? Maybe she's not racist, right? You know,
Mm-hmm.
maybe Ken is about to profusely apologize for his dumb drunk wife, right? Maybe. I don't know. Let's see what happens.
It's okay. I'm not gonna take the ride. You guys can get out. Really? Yeah. Completely inappropriate.
Oh, you're a fucking asshole.
It's all on
Uh-oh.
camera, man. It's all on
I should
camera.
punch you in the fucking face.
You're gonna threaten me?
Yeah,
Assault?
yeah.
Wow. Because you guys are racist as fuck.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
Oh.
No, I'm calling the cops on you, man. It's all on camera. It's all on camera. You guys own the place. Is it your place? That's great. Everyone's gonna know. Fossil's last stand for black people, right? Yeah. Fuck off. You.
Yeah. And then in Ken's drunken stupidity, right? I mean, there's so many things you could have said, but the N-word lover, that is strictly a racist thing to say. Like,
right.
There's nothing else. Like, even if you were to say the N-word, no hard ER, like, listen rap or whatever. But there is no non-racist way to call someone an N-word lover. There's not at all. You can't do
No.
it. Like,
Wow. That is something else. Good for him.
right?
Good for him.
You see why I said I like this lift drive?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Good for him. I like that. All right, you good people. Thank you so much for tuning in with us today. Definitely appreciate you guys, your likes and shares. I will address what I need to address later on Friday nights. That's when we do it. You guys, please stay safe. There's so much going on. It's getting warmer. So be safe. You got your wallets, your purses. Keep it close to you, or don't even carry it. Just what you need. Your identification and a card, maybe. But do stay safe. Hope you guys have a wonderful week. And until we meet again, peace.